Hello, students. I'm Dr. M. Bhushanam, Professor in Zoology, Maharani Science College for Women, Bangalore. Today, we shall learn another topic of environmental laws related to Forest Conservation Act. First of all, what is forest? It is a large area of land which is provided with uncultivated plant species in a natural environment. In simple to say, it is a large area of land covered with the trees. The forest conservation is something very essential because it not only relates to the involvement of the wildlife, mean to say, and domesticated animals are dependent on the forest. Not only that, the large area of the forest cover also involves in maintaining the ecological balance in the environment. But the human beings and their interventions into the forest areas have made the forest to undergo the loss. So the loss of the forest cover is need to be controlled, and there comes into the act referred as, the law referred as Forest Conservation Act of 1980. So this act of the Parliament of India mainly concentrates the providence for the conservation of forests. So later in 1988, there was an amendment of this act. So the Forest Conservation Act of 1980 is the Indian law which requires the approval from the central government for the de-reservation of the forest or the use of forest land for non-forest purposes. What exactly it means? We tend to use the forest area for certain of the projects such as the power generation, irrigation, mining, infrastructure. These activities are allowed in the forest areas or forest cover areas by obtaining the permission from the central government. And this is what is under the Forest Conservation Act is about. The purpose of Forest Conservation Act majorly relates to promotion of conservation. So the act concentrates on the control over the deforestation which is illegally done. In order to overcome this, the laws are implemented to protect the rich biodiversity. The second important purpose is to balance the development. Students, remember, the balance is necessary between the developmental aspects economically as well as the natural aspects that we find in the environment. Otherwise, there should be a balance between ecological factors as well as our developmental issues. So, just because of our development, we cannot keep on destroying the forest. So we need to concentrate on the natural environmental balance. Ecologically, also we should concentrate on the developmental activities. So both need to be balanced. Coming on to the provisions of this Forest Conservation Act. So it requires the prior approval from the central government for non-forest purposes. There should be a regulatory nature. So the act should be related to the regulation of the natural environmental conditions. At the same time, the developmental aspects also have to be concentrated. The provision also provides the advisory committee that includes majorly the central government officials. The one who breaks the law of Forest Conservation Act are subjected for the penalties, fines and imprisonment. The amendment of the Forest Conservation Act was done in 2023 for silvicultural purposes, mean to say cultivation of more number of trees when we go for the destruction. And the amendment also concentrates on ecotourism facilities. What is the significance or importance of Forest Conservation Act then? The Act reduces the deforestation. The word deforestation generally refers to the destruction of the forest area. So we create the laws for the forest area. So that chopping down or cutting down of the trees is called as deforestation, which is reduced through this Forest Protection Act. Then it also involves in sustainable development. It helps in balancing the needs for the national development one side, the other side also concentrates on the environmental factors and their balance. Well, students, this Forest Conservation Act has 5 major sections, of which the first section concentrates about the importance of this act, and it clarifies about certain of the types of lands. This law is applied to all the states of the country. Section number 2 is related to the restriction on de-reservation of the forest or use of the forest land for non-forest purposes. What are these non-forest purposes? It includes the forest land with the prior permission of the central government is used for planting of the tea, coffee, spices, rubber, palms, oil bearers and the medicinal plants. So there is a National Green Tribunal which is involved to control the damages created to the forest areas, and they are the board, a nodal agency which will take care of the forest cover. Section 3 includes the advisory committee that are given or empowered with the authority to frame the laws to conserve the forest, and they give approval for the projects for the non-forest purposes. If at all one is willing to use the forest area for non-forest purpose such as growing of the tea, coffee, spices, etc., they should go to the authorities, the advisory committee, and they will have to give the permission for the user so that they can be restricted to the area, restricted to the crop plantation also. It also concentrates on the penalty. It also concentrates on the power issued to the advisory committee. Section 4 talks about the powers and rules that are granted to the authority. Section 5 talks about repeal for any existing laws. Mean to say, there could be the amendment of the laws under Section 5. So this is about the importance of Forest Protection